I am delighted to join you today on this auspicious occasion. Indeed, today marks a milestone as we witness the signing ceremony of a framework agreement between ICDC, KP Kenya Port Authority, Kenya Railway Corporation, and Kenya Pipeline Company. This framework will create an arrangement for anchoring and integrating the state's ports, railways, and pipeline services within the Kenya Transport and Logistics Network in line with the Presidential Executive Order number 5 of 2020 that was issued on 7th August this year. The framework agreement brings together the four institutions into the network, and in line with the direction in the executive order, will be signed between ICDC on one hand, KPA, KRC, and KPC on the other. I am happy and grateful to our teams for working very hard and together and delivering on this important task within the timelines that His Excellency the President has set out in the executive order. He gave us 30 days, and the 30 days is either lapsing today or just yesterday. I extend immense gratitude once again to all those who made this possible. It's not been easy. It's been a journey of too many unknowns and working from a lot of visionary thinking. And I really want to acknowledge those who are involved in it, but of importance, the head of Public Service Office, Wanjiku, Kamau, and the rest of the team who worked so hard to think far in the future and to produce a document that will give us a bearing on where we are going to go. The signing of this framework agreement reaffirms the President's commitment to reforming the Kenyan economy, and more particularly the state corporations, through which the government's growth and transformation agenda is directly implemented. Indeed, this is yet another step towards the implementation of the report of the Presidential Task Force on parastatal reforms. I think those of you in the know, a few years ago, when the President took over the mantle of leadership of this country, we realized that the way we manage and work with our state corporations were either wasteful or not targeted. And from where I sit in the National Treasury, as a custodian of a lot of responsibility of these agencies, I every single day mourn about over 400 agencies that are being funded by taxpayers' money. And the majority are not performing. They're either in the red or they're struggling. And they keep on coming back to Treasury for bailout. And we keep on duplicating functions that can efficiently and effectively be undertaken by one or two agencies. I think in realization of the same, the President set up a task force that has gone to the great length in consulting and engaging all the relevant stakeholders, and have compiled a report that is ready to go. One of the key focuses of the report was the reforms of the commercial state enterprises, the state-owned enterprises like these ones, to make them work for the general good of this country and its people by supporting the economic agenda that will transform Kenya into a newly industrializing middle-income country, providing high quality of life to all its citizens. Are we all doing the same? I think there's a discussion that this is going to be a test case. It's just the beginning of the implementation of the report. And as the first baby, we cannot guess. We have to get it right, and we'll get it right, and we'll be moving forward by all means. As we all know, the efficiency of the national infrastructure as a facilitator, by and large, is also a key indicator of the health of the economy. An efficient service delivered by all these important infrastructural programs will be the vital signs of the state of the economy. When there's efficiency, when there's expansion, when there's growth, is a clear indication that the economy is up and about and is on the right trajectory. That's why we want to get it right. We expect, therefore, that through this new integrated and seamless approach of operational integration, the country will reap the benefits of created synergies through increased efficiency, lower cost of doing business, and competitiveness of our products and services, and generally higher returns on the infrastructure investments. Because these infrastructure projects and programs and interventions are to make the ease of doing business faster, the delivery of goods and services, and make it easier and cheaper. If you look at in the past, it used to take maybe 10 years or even 1 month to walk all day from Mombasa to Nairobi. Is that the case now? No. A lot of steady growth of infrastructure has taken place. The cost of now delivering huge consignment cargo to Nairobi or even beyond is not what it was 50 years ago. Things are changing. That's why the economy, we have to adapt for faster delivery of all this. Allow me to elaborate a few salient issues in the framework agreement. First, in the development of the framework agreement, we have recognized and underscored the importance of common and clear principles to guide the cooperation. These principles include the adoption of a single governance approach to management of the network and elimination of the silo approach. I think it's been indicated here by the PS before. We become captive of our own policies, where you think that as KPA, you are only mindful about your mandate, but you do not think through how it's going to reflect an impact on railway and other transport system within the bigger context of the economy, or the same for railway. You think your efficiency by protecting your staff, you are ready to go and you are being tested and measured by your own success. But however efficient you are, if your complementary sister agencies are not functional or our problems will not be very good for the economy. So that complementarity of relationship is key at all times. That's why there's need for a lot of interactions, engagement at all times, and joint planning, joint strategy. There's also prompt and responsive consultation and cooperation. There's need for synchronization of decision making, transparency and disclosure, accountability, integrity, and timeliness. So those are the principles on whose this framework agreement is built. Secondly, the agreement sets out the scope of the collaboration, with the broad areas being policy, financial, operational, transactional, and decisional collaborations. Because whatever you do, you have also to put in the context on how it's going to affect your sister agency because of that complementarity of relationship. Each of these broad areas are further broken down into detailed and more specific targets to give more clarity and focus. We are just in the beginning. Moving forward, there'll be a lot of work that's going to be undertaken, a lot of further input into the document that will make it more clearer. The agreement has also set up collaboration mechanisms with clear responsibilities for ICDC, the parties generally, and the operating entities. Each of these entities will be expected to play their roles guided by the principles set out in the agreement and in the best interest of the network and by extension our country. we are not doing this only for the sake of it or for the sake of one agency. It is within the broader context of the country. It's not for Mombasa. It has to be in context. It has to affect positively the residents of Mandera or Malaba, everywhere. So within the context of the bigger country scope. Some of the key aspects therein include funding of the integrated operations and the upgrading of and new capital investments. That when you undertake certain projects that's going to increase efficiency of one agency, it has to be owned by the rest of the agencies. That linkage with the rest of the agencies has to come out clearly before the approval is given. While recognizing that significant funds will be required to achieve the commercial vision, objectives, and benefits of the agreement, allocation of financial resources of the parties will be aligned to achieve greater value for the common good and achievement of the objectives of the network. So future funding, I know most these agencies, there's been misconception that maybe we are going this direction for the sake of bailing out one organization. No, these are all liquid, they are doing very well. In fact, last year, significant amount of our budget support came from these agencies. And on their own, they are doing very well. But we want them to do better by being a regional player, not only at the country level, but the influence will be spread beyond the confines of the Kenyan boundary. Through this agreement, we plan to have a shared service on a number of areas. So that's our vision. How it's going to roll out is going to be the work of now the agencies working together, collaborating together. There will be no imposition. No one is going to impose anything on you. But mutually, we have to agree, amicably agree, on a roadmap of all activities that binds us together. If we can do our procurement better when we are together, then that's going to be explored. That is the activities that we have set for you. That one of them will be the issue of one of the shared services will be on procurement, promotion of market-based transport, encourage greater use of locally manufactured spare parts. That's why the issue of the numerical machining complex is going to be part of these agencies. We've already now placed in the National Treasury to complement, part of your day-to-day operations. We'll be encouraging greater use of locally manufactured spare parts, which I just said, equipment and services, technical services, areas of innovations, because life is continuously changing. Technology is changing every other day. And if we can substitute and make our own spare parts, if we can do our own things together, if local innovation can find space within this arrangement, so there's now need of you now working on your own research and innovation hub, when jointly you can, one innovation center can complement activities of all the others. There will be issues of integration of core freight logistics services, including warehousing, cargo handling, consolidation centers, increased backhauling, among others. Like the other day, we were looking at a situation where that we have a number of warehouses that belong to railways, dotting all the way from Nairobi to Nanyuki. The last time they were used, maybe 40 years ago or 30 years ago. Why are they, when they can effectively be utilized by either pipeline, or you have so much idle land, that land you are holding in trust for the Kenyan people. You are a company fully owned by the Kenyan government. KPC is a company fully owned by the Kenyan government. And yet KPC cannot utilize the adjacent piece of land for the common good of the country. These are things that we want to eliminate. We must share the resources we have. We must share the vision we have, because at the end of the day, an efficient one agency will promote efficiencies and also along the others. So these are areas that we want to look at. This indeed will not only create the desired linkages and synergies, but will undoubtedly contain costs and promote that needed professionalism. There's too much the movement of between one agency and another in terms of even personnel is going to contribute to professional growth even among the staff. I want to add that the National Treasury is in the process of reviewing other legal and policy frameworks in order to ensure the full facilitation of implementation of the agreement and successful operation of the network services. National Treasury, as now the mother of these agencies, will now scan through all the legal arrangement, existing legal arrangement, regulations, and all the appropriate policies to create that harmony between all these agencies, that there's no overlap. If the areas that needs to be amended, we are going to work on it. In this regard, I undertake to ensure that the conclusion of all other agreements, including operational level agreements and other sub-agreements and structures to implement this framework agreement within the next 60 days of this framework agreement. As soon as we sign, we are going to constitute a team that's going to look at all these arrangements and finalize within a maximum period of 60 days. Allow me also to emphasize and assure all concerned stakeholders that the creation of this network will not lead to any loss of jobs. Contrary, it's going to increase the space for additional jobs. Because we focus more benefits for our people through improved business, reduction of transport costs, low cost of doing business, reduction of time for the transport of goods, and generally enhanced efficiencies rather. Because we also, the last few days, there have been a lot of talk. I think they are private, what we are going to do today. There have been a lot of press reports that the economy of course is going to be affected, that people are going to lose jobs. There's really nothing like that. There's no change of mandate of those various agencies. KPL continued undertaking its duties in line with its mandate. We are only creating a team, but a stronger team. If you used to play alone or within at the village level, we have upgraded it to a level of higher standards that's going to create positive impact in the economy of the coast, but also the country. As I remind the boards, when we kicked off this process, the task ahead is not easy. It's not a walk in the park. There will be a lot of pullbacks. There will be a lot of fears among, unfounded fears, either among staff or among other stakeholders that you have dealings on daily basis. Those fears are unfounded. This is a new body. We want to work together and increase the efficiencies, complement each other as we, achieve all that we have set for ourselves. I am confident that with good planning and focused implementation, this will bear great fruit for our economy and by extension to this country. I therefore urge full dedication and maximum effort from each one of us as we endeavor to transform the corporations and deliver on the promise that we made to this country, and particularly the President, who has given us responsibility to roll out this program within the shortest time possible to its final conclusion, so that required efficiency is registered. I also want to, we really need to realize that life is a changing process. There's really nothing static. The fact that you are doing business 10 years ago in this way does not give you guarantee that you are going to adapt. If you don't adapt to the new working environment, there's what we call entropy, because you'll actually become extinct if you don't adapt and change to the current realities. That's why you cannot behave that what used to happen during the pre-colonial time or around independence are working now. Those systems are no longer working because there's technology with us, there is high demand on the part of the citizens, there's more efficiency, Days that, you know, when you now seek service at this KPA was like you giving any person a favor. It's no longer the same. Citizens have a right to demand. Under the new constitution, they have a right to demand, and we have a right to comply, because this is a government agency. So we must be alive to the fact that, you know, life is changing, and we have to change as we move along. The journey has been long. There have been many trials. There have been a lot of innovations, and all of them are here. Mombasa, this country, is the logistic hub of the region. Up to as far as Ethiopia, they want to do business with us, and they are doing business with us. That's why, you know, we have come up with the Lamu port to not only serve this country, there will be no opportunity for our people. All our advantages will just on paper, but you are not going to really realize it. There's a lot that's going to happen. We are talking of higher standards. We are talking of better standards. We have successful stories that we are going to learn from. Under these arrangements, Germany, one of the most successful logistics company, are also mounted on the same platform. There's one also in South Africa, also a number of countries. The reason as why they went there is now the reason we want to also do it. Because we are going to reduce cost, we are going to increase efficiency, we are going to create that competition among the agencies within one framework. It will also enhance better planning. There's going to be shared strategies, there's going to be shared complementarity. But I will assure you that we are going to maintain our own distinctiveness and mandate. You will continue doing your things, but, you know, you also don't lose sight of a new relationship that we are going to work with. There will be no loss of jobs, I indicated here earlier. There will be creation of more additional jobs because we are now looking beyond this country. We want to be an effective and efficient player in the neighboring countries. That requires joint strategy in terms of marketing, joint strategy in terms of planning, even that logistics. There's no point of you going to have an office in Malaba, KPA is going to have an office in Malaba, Railway is going to have an office now, when all of you can operate under one roof. You can also have shared services like ICT. You can also have same standard in terms of HR, the same standard in terms of procurement. These are things that we are looking at, because the net sum of all these is that to have an efficient system, a better empowered system, a globally competitive system. Let me conclude by thanking all those who have contributed to the development of this agreement. I know there are many, there are people who have, you know, burnt midnight oil to beat this 30 days deadline, when they do not really have a lot of benefit of experience of such a body before. A lot of research has gone into it, and from where I sit, I'm so happy, I'm quite satisfied with the quality of the roadmap that we are giving ourselves. I thank the board and the CEO of ICDC for the stewardship that they have shown so far, and we want to encourage you to work harder. A lot of the success of these entities will actually be hinged on how fast we roll out this. This relationship is very important. Okay.
So what we will do is documents are CSI that
No, I think no, this. I think you can also do like this. One final. And you know the way they were doing like this. Zara.
Na mtazamaji